I found myself in the group again, and it was like, this is way too slow. When they go, it's going to just explode, and so there's not going to be, everyone's going to be fresh, so there's not going to be any carnage to chase down. So I just kind of tried to do my own thing that I was doing anyhow, and get some people riled up, and it worked. And then it gave me some objectives to kind of chase down late in the race.
What's that feel like when you kind of you're off the pack and then you kind of target them back in at 20K? I think you were kind of closing in on them.
Yeah.
What's that like when you start to close in back with like a group and touch base with them again?
Yeah, it's pretty miserable when they break away at mile 2, and you're thinking like, what's the point of even being out here? There's a lot of negative thoughts at that point, and you got a long way to go. So as I started pulling them in, it was like, okay, this is rewarding. There's some objectives here, and it kind of reminds you that it's fun to be here. So it changed the mentality for the second half of the race quite a bit, which was nice.
How far back did you get behind there?
I don't know, it was probably like a minute and a half. It felt like that, I don't know. I have to look at the numbers. Yeah, it was far.
Overall, how do you feel about the result, performance?
It was fair. I think, I feel like I have this 225 in me still, but that might not be the case. I feel like maybe I'm just overestimating it. I'm coming on tired legs, but I would say this segment went really well. So if you're going to connect it, it's got to happen at some time. Otherwise, you're just throwing out a number and pretending like it might happen. So we'll see. We'll see if we have to reevaluate the goal.
The way you raced today, was that sort of the plan, the strategy you executed on it? Do you feel like you changed it at all as the race kind of unfolded in the second half, or no? Not
particularly. I wanted to be 1:12:30 at half was kind of like quickest I wanted to be. I think I was right around there, maybe a little bit faster. And then the second half is always harder, but I kind of put myself in the well a little bit, and I'd say by the right-hand turn, going into the Newton Hills, I was feeling little signs of cramping already, which is just way too early. So I was running a little tentative basically from that point on, just like trying to make sure I had the legs to get to the finish.
What do you think?
A long break. A long break. Yeah, that's a good question. I'll probably get suckered into a fall because it's just fun. But yeah, I'm going to be really intentional and make sure fired up, excited, and if the goal's right, show up, and if it's not, find something else.
For this one, was it easy to get moving?
Honestly, for most of the build-up, it was really hard. Yeah, and I think it was yesterday after my last event at Bank of America. We were driving back to the tech meeting, and I was like, I'm so excited to race tomorrow. And that was the first time I was pretty excited, which is unusual. So it kind of shows the wear and tear of the stretch of Chicago to Charleston here.
11th time racing Boston, I think. Anything new this time around, or what's changed essentially as you keep doing this race? It's become a staple of yours.
Just the entire sport. I mean, when you go out the first mile and it's like 5:07 and you're in like 23rd place, and no one's afraid of the distance anymore. No one's afraid to attack the pace, and people don't really fall apart. Like they just don't really blow up like they used to. So the sport really just feels different. I think 228 when I was at the beginning of my career, you're looking at top 10, maybe you sneak into the top 7. Now you're like, I don't know, back half of the elite field.
So there are 20 people in that pack.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And they're just like not afraid. It used to be like respect the distance, respect the course. No one does that anymore. No respect anymore.
Do you think people are just better trained, or the shoes contribute much to that, or both?
I think both. I think the shoes allow you to train better, they allow you to race better, and then that just kind of grows and stacks on top of each other. So it's cool. It's a great thing to see. It's just crazy having been on both sides of it.
I think you're going to make it like 28 miles, 30
I wouldn't be against that. It'd be fun. Yeah.
It would be great.
So coffee, bourbon, how do you kind of take down after the race today?
I've got a Coke right now, and then I'll probably get a cold beer. It was warm out there.
Yeah. Does that impact I heard a few rumblings about how the wind and sort of the weather.
I mean, there's always going to be someone grumbling about something. It wasn't bad. I mean, I think it was a little on the warmer side, but just dumping water on your head and drink a little extra. But yeah, and it makes a cold beer sound really nice. So I'll do that.
Congrats.